About the Balls podcast
with Mark Davis, Kriska Meinhardt, Ruth Rule, Jake Winnikine, Alan Tomasella, and Nick the Doc Skirkle. Good evening. It is Monday, August 19th, 2024. This is All About the Balls podcast. I am Mark Davis. That right there is Jake Winnikine. And behind him is the Little League World Series. And shout out to Lake Mary, Florida. They are in the double elimination bracket right now. Not looking too good for our boys, but it's Little League World Series. Anything can happen. But before we do anything, tonight we're going to talk a little NFL, a little overreaction to preseason week 2. Some storylines came out of it. Some storylines came out of a certain team, the Atlanta Falcons, who made some moves. We'll talk about them as well. But before we do anything, Jake, how are we doing tonight, man? How's it been the last week?
Oh yeah, great week, and just like you said, man, let's pull for Lake Mary, Florida, in the Little League World Series. Definitely exciting to have a little local team in there. But overall, yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah, and for everyone that's going to watch this after it's recorded, I'll bring it up when we maybe get a little more streamers, viewers. But start following, man. Start liking us. Start getting into the program. Start let us know what you think, because we're going to start going to 2 episodes a week, potentially 3. Depends on how we're going to do college. We have a plan for NFL, which is Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But college, we're going to try and squeeze in maybe on some Friday nights. We don't know yet. We just don't know, because NFL is so deep. We have to talk 2 nights for it. We have to recap the week before, and then we have to do the predictions where we preview the following week coming up. But tomorrow is a big episode, August 20th. Our college football predictions are going to be going out. So myself, Jake, and Luke will be live. I'll also read off Chris and Luke. So Jake, you better be ready for your college football playoff predictions.
Colorado all the way.
Yeah. I actually made my list today. There's some teams in there that you think maybe wouldn't make it. So it's more than just one I was looking at. And then there's a couple teams that people are probably favoring that won't make my list as well. So it's going to be competitive this year, 12-man. So you're going to see some 2-loss teams in there. You potentially see some 3-loss teams depending on conference winners and whatnot. But it's going to be pretty competitive. I think the last like 4 spots. So it's going to be very, very competitive, Jake. But hey, that's tomorrow night. And tonight, it's time for the NFL, man. This is some stories came out. Last week we started off with the Steelers quarterback situation. We're going to talk about them, but we won't start with them because the Raiders announced their starting quarterback. We got things like Daniel Jones. I like to call him not Danny Dimes anymore. It's more like Danny Turnovers. The Falcons, the Saints, the Bills, the Broncos, Patriots, and the Chiefs, just to name a few. And maybe we'll find some stuff to talk about as it goes on. But, Jake, we're going to start off with the Las Vegas Raiders as they announced their starting quarterback for the 2024 season, and that is one Gardner Minshew. It was a battle between him and Aiden O'Connell. And this past weekend, it was announced that Antonio Pierce was going to pick his starting quarterback. And week 2, the quarterbacks are about the same, but week 1, Minshew did outshine Aiden O'Connell, and it is Gardner Minshew. So the question is, Jake, how do we feel about this scenario for the Las Vegas Raiders, who, mind you, play in the same division as the Kansas City Chiefs?
I feel sorry for Devontae Adams. It's a lose-lose situation for him. They made the right call. Minshew is the better quarterback, but that's not saying Minshew is good or been great. Like you said, he had a decent week 1, but this last game, it was rough. He should have had a really bad pick, but it was dropped. I was not impressed. I don't even know why I feel the need to come out that quick and name the starter. I guess we all know it was going to be Minshew, but there's not really anything to be excited about. And I just feel sorry. They got a few stars in that team, and I just feel so bad for them because it's just not going to be a good year.
Yeah, I agree with you. They made the right choice, but it's not an excellent choice to pick out of. We know what Gardner Minshew is. He's an exciting player. Don't get me wrong. He's exciting. Every single week, you don't know what you're going to get. And he reminds me of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Exciting player. Yeah, he's going to have games where he reminds me of Ryan Fitzpatrick. He has games where he can go out and ball out, but then he has those games where just disappointing. And when it's all said and done, the season's on the line, you got to win to get in. Ryan Fitzpatrick 2015 with the Jets. Had to win to get in. They blew it. Then last year, Gardner Minshew, win against the Texans, and you're in the playoffs. You win your division. And what happens? They lost. And that's Gardner Minshew for you. I mean, so do I think that they're a 6 or 7 win team? Yeah, I think they're a 6 or 7 win team. And they're going to probably upset a team here and there and then lose a couple teams they shouldn't lose to, and then they're going to win the games that they should. And I feel bad for Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers. I think it's a solid 1-2 punch. I like Myers as the number 2. I really like Brock Bowers, Michael Mayers, the 1-2 combo with the tight end system. And then you have Zamir White, who looked good the last month of the 2023 season, paired with Alexander Madison, who looks a little more athletic than he was with Minnesota. Not saying he's going to be good or anything, but it looks like they have pieces there for a quarterback, but it's just not the right quarterback. And that opens the door. What do they do in 2025? Do they go get Shador Sanders, Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, Dak Prescott's a free agent? What do they do going on in the future? When is Devontae? I mean, I literally called my Raiders buddy, Ali. First thing I said was, when's Devontae Adams traded? It's disappointing, and I feel bad for Antonio Pierce. They finally made the right decision to get the coach that likes the players like. They should have done this a couple of years ago. I forgot the guy's name when they fired John Gruden, and they brought him in, and they moved on for Josh McDaniels. But they finally did it right with Antonio Pierce. They got the players love him. And then I think Atlanta screwed them too, drafting Penix. I think maybe they were in on a quarterback, one of the 6 quarterbacks. They settled for Brock Bowers. My opinion, I think that they were going to go quarterback. I really do. In this situation they have, I just don't. It sucks. It sucks for the Raiders. It really does.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, like you said, there was so much talent there, and I think they were going to go Penix. I really do. But even when you guys took Penix, you have to have a plan B. Like, it couldn't have just been, all right, Minshew's our quarterback. Like, Adams isn't getting younger. Like, they're just kind of throwing a season away, and I don't know. I feel like they should have.
So in order for them to get Bo Nix or JJ McCarthy after that, they would have had to trade with Chicago at 9 or the Jets at 10, where the Vikings did trade with the Jets. Now, the Bears took Rome Odunze. I think they were content going Rome.
Yeah.
Right there. So they would have had to trade with the Jets, and I don't know if the Raiders were in on going for a quarterback there. But when the Vikings when Vikings went and got 10, the Broncos were sure going to take Bo Nix. I mean, everyone was pretty much sold on that. There's no way the Broncos were going to trade back at that point because he was the last quarterback available. So I don't know if the Raiders – I don't know which court they would have taken. I think they would have still gone QB. I don't care if J.J. McCarthy was there. They would have gone quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's the question now. What do they do next year? I mean, Gardner Minshew's not your answer. And Andy O'Connell, I don't think he's the answer either. So the question is, do they reach on one of these quarterbacks that are the top 3? It looks like the top 3 betting odds right now are not in order, but Shador, Carson, and Quinn Ewers, which I'm not a fan of any quarterback next year.
Any of them. I think the way that roster is set up at this point, you kind of need an established quarterback. Like, if Dallas does not come to terms with Dak, I would be all in with a blank check. Like, what do you want? $60 million a year, Dak? Here you go. Like, they need someone that's going to come in and is ready to play, not a rookie where you're going to have to start him right away where he's not ready, and then have to develop through his whole rookie season, because then he was basically throwing away 2 seasons.
Yep.
And you can't. Like, they're going to need an established quarterback. They're going to have to make a trade or pick up a free agent. The first one that comes to mind is Dak.
And I have a weird feeling like it's just the Raiders. It's a Raiders thing. They go get Daniel Jones. I just, for some reason, can see it. They go get Daniel, not for like a big 40 million like the Giants did, but like maybe like a $15-20 million deal a year, and they go get Daniel Jones. I can honestly see it.
What about whichever one Denver doesn't keep, or if Denver doesn't keep either one? Fields and Russ.
You mean Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
You could see it. I know we're going to talk about that next. I don't know if I want Russ. To be honest, we're going to talk about.
It's not a huge upgrade, but those two are going to be options too.
They got to be one of the. They got to be. If Dallas, I know it sounds like Dak and Dallas are getting a little more
close.
But if they, for some reason, can't Cassidy, we don't know what the tweet meant, and then they still have to pay Parsons. So let's just say if they can't go get Dak, or Dak doesn't get paid, what the Giants, Steelers, and the Raiders should be the three teams calling Dak. Those are the three teams that need a quarterback, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And we know that, I mean, the Giants are going to be in a situation, I don't know how much dead cap they're going to eat with Daniel, but
No, a lot.
the Steelers don't have any, honestly. The Steelers and Raiders seem like the two teams that are, unless the Giants, I mean, we have a crazy thing going on in the office where I think the Giants can go get Bill Belichick. Josh McDaniels comes as offensive coordinator. They move on from Brian Daboll. You bring in Dak Prescott, a pair of Josh McDaniels and Malik Neighbors. That's to me that's good construction if it works that way. A dream scenario. But I don't know, man. I just feel bad for Devontae Adams. I think he's traded before the deadline this year. Obviously, the Jets is probably the biggest name that they're all looking for. He wants to play with Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, and if healthy, Devontae Adams. That'd be a scary trio in the NFL. And Breece Hall running back, and then Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So all healthy, that would be. And I don't think you would need some receivers when they get traded. You got a couple weeks for a few weeks to learn the system. It wouldn't take him long. He knows what Nathaniel Hackett runs. He knows Aaron Rodgers. The chemistry.
He knows. The timing with the quarterback would be fine.
Yeah. So, we'll see. But Jake, we're gonna move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Russ started this past weekend, and I know that the Steelers have issues at offensive line right now. They just lost their center. Looks like Zach Frazier, the rookie's gonna move to center. I don't know how long he's gonna be out. They just said extended time, and I get it. Last week, Fields got beat up a little bit, but he was at least able to move outside the pocket. He made some good throws, and then he got hit. He couldn't handle the fumbles. But Russell this week, he looked like he had concrete for legs. Like it looked like he had concrete weighing him down, like he was in quicksand or something. Like I understand we understand you're not going to be the Russell Wilson of Seattle, but at least attempt to move out of the pocket. Like I don't know what it is. I know he's not slow. He's not quick, but he's not like an old man. He's not Tom Brady or Peyton Manning running the ball. He can move, and he just looks scared. He doesn't look like he wants to try. I'm to the point where I don't think Justin Fields is better than Russell Wilson, but at least with Justin Fields, I know he can extend the pocket and he can move and he can at least try and make the throw on the run or something and get something out of him.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, we know we're not getting a Seattle Russ, but last night he didn't even look like a Denver Russ. Like it was even the step back from that. Like he looked slow and I mean, just not into it. His feet movement was awful. I don't know what that was. I mean, obviously they've been saying that there was maybe a little injury. Maybe he was trying to take it easy. I don't know. But I know he wanted to be out there because the more snaps that Fields got, he's going to take that job. And I think Fields, as of right now, just by the legs, Fields should have the job. Just be able to, but Fields has some bad overthrows and some accuracy issues. It's another tough one. I mean, this O-line's terrible. I mean, we thought, at least I've been hyping them up. I thought they were going to be better. I thought the O-line was going to look better. They drafted a couple offensive linemen. They signed a couple. I think they signed one in the offseason. And that's why I would prefer Fields. I'm not saying Fields is a better thrower of the ball. I mean, Russell's still one of the better deep ball throwers when he can throw it. But he's not able to move. He just looks like he's stuck in sand. He's stuck in mud or something. And I don't like that. I don't like that for my quarterback. No, and if that O-line is going to be that bad, then you got to have Fields for the legs because he's running for his life. I mean, Russ is just going to get nailed. So I would be leaning towards Fields, but I mean, everything I read and see, it seems like they're leaning towards Russ. But obviously, that was before last night's. But that was before the preseason game.
And Bill Belichick was on the Pat McAfee show today. I was listening to it, and he said something pretty good about the Steelers. And I agree. Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris, they have to be productive this year. They cannot be slow. It'll open up the play action. It'll open up the passing game. It'll help the offensive line in the pass protection because they're not rushing as much. They're playing off a little bit or they're playing for the run. And I get it's a short sample size. It's preseason. We're only judging what we see for 2-3 series of the starters, but the running game hasn't looked that well neither compared to last season. maybe Arthur Smith and them aren't showing us like the true play calls that we're going to get in the regular season. But I just don't like what I'm seeing from Russell Wilson. I thought Russ was going to be better than this. I guess I get it. He played 4 or 5 drives, but 4 or 5 drives he didn't look good.
Yeah.
One quarter he did not look impressive at all. I was not thrilled. If this is the Steelers we're going to get week 1 against Atlanta, Atlanta's going to beat the shit out of them.
Yeah. I mean, I think they do either way.
Well, we'll talk why, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it sucks because I don't mind Pittsburgh being good. Like, I would like to see the Steelers. I think the NFL is good when the Steelers are competitive. I mean, the NFL is a good league when the Pittsburgh market is thriving. I know Luke doesn't like to hear that because he's a Baltimore fan, but I mean, it's something. You know what I mean? And it's
I got nothing against Pittsburgh. I mean, I have no problem with them being good, but I'm not right now.
Yeah.
I was having a little more higher hopes before preseason started about Pittsburgh. But those are kind of dwindling as the weeks go on now. Like, I'm not liking what I see. That they got some diva wide receivers. So if it starts going downhill, they're going to be throwing fits. It could get ugly real fast in Pittsburgh.
I mean, speaking of the diva receivers, I honestly feel bad for George Pickens. I think he's a good receiver. I get it like 60 or 70 catches last year, but he had over 1,000 yards with Kenny Pickett. I think George Pickens can be not like what they're going to pay him to be, like the top wide receiver money, but I think he can be a really good receiver in this league. I think he can get 80, 90 catches a year. He could have 1,200, 1,300 yards. He can have about 7 to 9 touchdowns and be a solid number 1 on a team with a good quarterback. But this is just it's like the Drake London to me. I think Drake London can be good in the NFL. I know you and Alan are keep ragging him, but I don't think he had anything to show with Taylor Heineke, Marcus Mariota, and Desmond Ridder. Now with Kirk Cousins, I think Drake London can be a solid receiver. And that's how I feel about George Pickens. These quarterbacks are going to hold him back. And that's the situation.
Yeah.
For me, at least.
I mean, he could be. I like Pickens. I think he'd be great, but hopefully he has a quarterback this year that actually does something.
I mean, you could put 1,100 yards, and I don't know how many touchdowns he had last year with Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and whoever else threw the fucking ball. I mean,
yeah, garbage.
Yeah, you're pretty good. I know the catches weren't there, but like I said, that's quarterback play. I mean, you can only catch what's getting thrown to you. And that's why I like Drake London this year. I think Kirk's going to get him the ball. That's the difference with these receivers. Not saying that these guys are CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, and Justin Jefferson by all means, but let's talk positive though. We've been negative so far. Let's talk Tua and the Miami Dolphins. Not sure if the offensive line played. I know the running backs did. We saw Raheem Mostert and we saw A-Chain. We didn't see Jalen Wright. He was battling an injury, but Tua looked good. I mean, not just like throwing the ball, but he looks athletic. He looks slim.
He looks slim.
I think he looks quicker. I get it. Like his delivery of the ball. I know Tua's always had a quick trigger, but the quick sidearm trigger he had underneath the pass rusher looked really good. And this was with backup receivers and Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith will be the number 1 tight end, but I thought Tua was really excellent. He was 5 of 5, good little touchdown to Kuckercraft or whatever his name is. And I might take back maybe that rough stretch. Miami can't win some games in December. I know they've been a struggling December team with this regime, but I don't know, man. Like this, if Tua looks like this and he can stay upright, Miami could be dangerous.
Yeah, but I feel like we said the same thing last year. Like Miami was dangerous until they play a good team. Miami never shows up against a good team. I mean, Tua better come up to camp ready, sign a $212 million contract. He better be slim and ready to go. Yeah. I mean, come on. But yeah, I mean, Miami's got the talent. I mean, they had a lot of injuries down the stretch last year. But the thing is, they don't show up in big games. Tua does not win. He don't win big games no matter what time of the year, not just December. He don't win big games. But he'll put up 60 on Washington or something, on some random team, and then everyone's thinking, "Oh man, Dolphins," but then they go lose to the good team. So I don't know until they show me otherwise. I can't.
Yeah, I know.
I can't hype them up.
It's a trust thing. I heard something. Someone said, I forgot which show it was, but they said, you can't always judge the past based on the future success because teams eventually. I mean, obviously they're playing against Kansas City, so Kansas City is the betting favorite, but. If this is the Tua that I'm going to see day in and day out, like I was more impressed with Tua than I've been. I still think the Dolphins should have drafted Justin Herbert in that draft class, but that's in the past. But I liked what I saw, and I'm not normally a Tua fan, but when I was watching him it was the Commanders' starting team. It was a starting defense. I am not saying that the Commanders are the Commanders a few years ago with that electric pass rush, but he looked good with backup receivers. He looked better than Brock Purdy did with his backup receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, Tua looked good. Obviously Mike McDaniel puts him in the right situation. He's a hell of a play caller. He's a hell of a coach when it comes to scheming up an offense. But I liked what I saw from Tua.
Yeah, I do too. But I just know until he proves me otherwise, I can't be like, oh, this is it. This is Tua.
Yeah.
Like, win a big game and I'll shut up. I have no problem with that. But I just need to see that. Not even so much a playoff game. Obviously, they haven't won a playoff game in a long time. But just win some big games.
I think they are the longest active streak without winning a playoff game.
What is it, like 20 years or something? It's a long time, right?
I think there was 99 or 2000.
It's a long time.
I think they last won it with Marino.
Yeah, long time.
Detroit, when they won their playoff game last year, it became the Dolphins.
Yep.
And the Bengals had that stretch for a while, and then Burrow came in the league, and they went on some good couple runs in the playoffs. And the Browns won a playoff game with Baker, so they got off the schneid there. So it's Miami, and that's bad. They haven't had really good quarterback play since Dan Marino. No,
absolutely not. And like I said, I'm not even looking for just a playoff win. I just want them to win some big games.
Damn, is Tua the best quarterback since Dan Marino in Miami?
What do you got? You got Tannehill,
old Culpepper.
Mm-hmm.
You had Chad Pennington, who led them to the playoffs in 2008 with the Wildcat, with Ronnie Brown and Ricky. I believe Ricky was there for that year as well. Damn. Ryan, like I said, Ryan Tannehill. They had Ryan Fitzpatrick. It doesn't also help. It doesn't help, according to Tua, that your coach, apparently the former coach, his first coach, told him every day he sucked.
Yeah, Flores hated him. They wanted him to start him, and he didn't want to start him. And then the whole Brady thing happened, all that. But Flores did not want to be with Tua.
Flores probably wanted Herbert. Come on.
Yeah, probably.
Imagine Herbert with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. We don't know if the same, because if Tyreek Hill's there, or if Herbert's there, do they even have that chance to go get Jalen Waddle and
well,
whatnot?
If you swap just even as the roster as it is, swapped Herbert and Tua, I think that's a Super Bowl team.
Yeah, I still think Herbert has issues winning big games too, like Tua, but I think Herbert's way better talent-wise. I think the Chargers also, as a whole team, like the defense hasn't been as good as Miami's defense.
Always hurt.
The run game is definitely better. Eckler was not really like a superstar running back in that department. He was good as a pass catcher.
Yeah.
But no. I get you had Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, but shit, Mike Williams, you hurt a lot. It's not like
So was Bosa. So was the defense. Chargers are always hurt. So, but I think. I think
I take Herbert.
If Herbert was on that Dolphins roster last year, I think they go into this Kansas City and win.
Well, I don't think that they're even going into Kansas City. I think they win. I think they win one of the last few games that they didn't choke.
True.
And then they're hosting a game, and Buffalo is out of the playoffs probably.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Buffalo, huge loss, man. Sucks because Matt Milano was supposed to be coming back. He, in my opinion, not the best linebacker in the league, but he's definitely up there. He's definitely one of the top linebackers in the NFL, and he tore his biceps, if I'm not mistaken, is what it was, right? And
his pec or something, I think. Wasn't it something over here.
So he's out for the year. They said he could be back by December, but it would all have to it'd have to be if he's ahead of schedule, how the Bills are looking to, if the Bills are in playoff contention.
Yeah.
And it just sucks because the defense I still think is good because of Sean McDermott. He puts them in good situations. I don't think they're going to be a terrible defense. They looked good when they had all the injuries last year. They were still top 10 defense. But it's just a huge loss. You lose your captain. You already have question marks on offense. You might need your defense to step in because if Josh Allen has to be Superman out there, he might put you in some bad situations because he's got to try really hard. It's a tough blow for a Buffalo team that I still think could win 8 or 9 games and maybe sneak into the playoffs if the teams are 9 wins, toward that playoff, that 7 seed. But it's just a rough loss for the Buffalo Bills.
So even after all these injuries, you're still thinking 8 or 9 wins?
Because I trust Josh Allen to get me wins. I solely think Josh Allen wins you games. That's my thing.
But he also loses you games.
He wins you more games than you loses games.
Yeah, but he's going to try. I personally
this year, yes.
I think he's going to try to do too much this year because of the lack of talent that they have, and I think there's going to be. Because he throws picks. He's leading the picks, since he's been in the league. He throws picks like crazy. But now I think he's going to try even more harder, and I don't know. I'm worried about Buffalo. I think it's a huge step back.
See, Buffalo's a weird team because, if you just sit back and you analyze the team, I get it. There's no Stephon Diggs. But when Joe Brady came in to call plays as offensive coordinator, he's still the coordinator.
Yeah.
James Cook became one of the better running backs in football. Ray Davis from Kentucky's rookie looks pretty good this preseason. He's the number 2. Keon Coleman. And we've seen rookie receivers take over the league their first 2 seasons. I'm not saying Keon Coleman's Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase or, CeeDee Lamb or whoever had great rookie seasons. But Keon Coleman can be a solid good receiver for Buffalo. And then you still pair in Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. A two tight end system right there. They really like Shakir and Curtis Samuel for his little gadget role. I'm not saying that it's Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis time, but if you just analyze it, what they can be with Joe Brady in the run game, because the run game is going to set up the pass. If the run game opens it up, maybe.
Yeah, but you're giving a lot of what if scenarios, or if he's going to be good, if he's an elite receiver. Absolutely. If he's an elite receiver, then they got to steal in the draft. They got the number 1. All is well in the world of receiving. But it's an if. We don't know. And if he ends up being an elite receiver and we don't miss Diggs, we don't miss Gabe Davis, then absolutely. Then I could see some, maybe 8 or 9 wins. But right now we don't know. On paper, yeah, I think he's gonna be a great receiver. I think he was one of the ones I had circled in the draft that I thought was gonna be good. But we don't know.
I'll just come out and say it. I'm biased as fuck. I'm a Josh Allen fanboy. I love Josh Allen. I'm not saying I always how I compared Gardner Minshew to Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm not saying Josh Allen's Brett Favre, but if you watch the way they play, besides obviously Josh Allen's a better runner. Brett Favre was athletic though. He could scramble. They're the same style. They will do whatever it takes to win the game. Sometimes that's going to cost you. Brett Favre did the same thing. Now, I get it. Brett Favre won a Super Bowl. He went to a Super Bowl. He went to the NFC Championship with the Vikings. He's, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, but he also has the most career interceptions. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what Josh Allen does. And I get it. That's the gunslinger mentality. Mahomes is the gunslinger too, if you ask me. He had some turnovers last year, had some interceptions, but I don't know, man. I like Josh Allen. I really think he is one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in this league. I really think he is.
Yeah, but he's still gonna have to get through his daddy Mahomes too.
And the problem is, out of most quarterbacks, Josh Allen does play Patrick Mahomes the toughest normally in the playoffs.
Oh, it's
and
always
he beats him.
Game.
And I'm telling you right now, Buffalo is beating Kansas City in the regular season. They usually do. They usually do. Now that's going to be
the Chiefs don't care about the regular season.
No, and I think that the Chiefs are going to have a good regular season. I think that's going to be their first loss, and I think they go 8-0 or something like that. They're going to beat you guys, I think, right before they beat the Bills. It's going to be a tough stretch, and I think it's at Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. I don't care if it's in Kansas City. I have them winning because Josh Allen is going to live up to that game. It's just he's going to play up to Patrick Mahomes' stand. They usually do. They usually test each other. That's what we do, or that's what they do. That's what they do. So let's go back to the negative side and talk about old Daniel Jones. You see the screen. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple or iHeart, tune in to YouTube, man, because you'll see the screen. It's Danny Turnovers Jones, not Danny Dimes no more. So I get it. His anticipated return preseason, debut this preseason. His first drive, 3 and out. Second drive, a terrible pick six out of the end zone. He threw. I think he's just fucking didn't know where he was throwing it. And then they're moving the ball a little bit on the third drive, and then he underthrows the hell out of Jalen Hyatt and interception. And then, of course, they scored a touchdown the next drive and a field goal. But Jake, Drew Lock didn't look good the first game. He didn't play the last game because he was hurt this past weekend. And Daniel Jones looked terrible. And I do think the Giants have talent around him, receiving-wise. I do like Jalen Hyatt. I do like Malik Neighbors. Young receivers. Theo Johnson's a rookie tight end. But, man, the Giants are in for a long season.
And I want to apologize to Malik Neighbors because his rookie season is going to be rough. Man, like I said it last week, the Giants deserve it. They deserve every minute of this. They gave that terrible contract to Danny Jones, and they're stuck. I mean, he is bad. He is not a good quarterback. He had that crazy year where he looked like he was an NFL quarterback, and then he got paid. They paid him way overpaid him, but he has been absolutely trash since then. And those throws were just
There's no excuses for it.
There's
It's
no
terrible.
excuses. It's horrible. I mean, it was pathetic. I mean,
And it sucks because Brian Daboll made him a competent quarterback for the 1 year.
Yeah.
Crazy playoff win over Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. Gets paid. Before he gets hurt last year, he looked terrible. So like you said, the Giants, and it's the owner. It's the owner that wanted him. It's Mara.
Yeah.
Mara wanted him.
I don't want him to lose his job over this trash quarterback because he's a good coach.
He is. He helped turn around Josh Allen. People forget Josh Allen was a project coming out of Wyoming.
He was not a big name.
He throws fastballs. He that's why the receivers in college couldn't catch it. If you watch his film, he was pretty accurate, but throwing 100 miles per hour every play, receivers can't catch that all the time. And then he learned. He was teaching, helping him get like delivery on the ball, touch on the ball. And Daniel Jones looked pretty good in 2022, but last year not so much.
And now even worse. It's bad.
I think Malik Neighbors is going to have a good season still, but it's going to be like a lot of roller coasters. You're going to have some good weeks.
And some really bad weeks. Yeah, I know.
It's like I'm scared to draft Malik Neighbors in fantasy if I even want to.
That's how. After watching that game, I'm terrified to even touch him. Like you don't know. There's gonna be games where he'll have 200 and a couple touchdowns. Like it'll happen, but I think there's gonna be more games than not that it's just really bad.
Like they catch it on the sideline, a great catch, but that's what you're gonna be getting. You're gonna have to see him make some circus-like catches.
He's gonna fight for his life to get a catch.
Yeah, he really is, man.
Yeah,
it's so bad because, like I said, I think the Giants on paper, if you take away the quarterback, I think they have some pieces. Now, I'm not saying that they're the best team. I think that maybe they're a year or two away. That's why I said, the dream scenario is, unfortunately, even if you keep Daboll, honestly, and you don't get Bill, bring Daboll in with Dak Prescott. Daboll could work with Dak. He really could.
Absolutely. I think he could. I don't think he's a bad coach.
I don't either.
He's doing anything possible he can with Daniel Jones. It's just not there. It's terrible.
And worst case, and if you do the Belichick route, I know people don't like Josh McDaniels, but he's a good offensive coordinator, not a good coach. Let him be coordinator. He can work with Dak Prescott as well. Just get him a play caller. That's all you need. And Daboll and McDaniels are the options, in my opinion. You only bring McDaniels in if you bring Bill in. You don't just bring McDaniels in by himself. You got to let Bill control the defense, like he did in New England. And defense is good. You got Brian Burns. Dexter Lawrence is still there.
I think if this season, as expected, going to be bad, I think they call Bill. I think Bill wanted that job. Wasn't it rumored that Bill wanted that job anyway?
I think he wanted New York and Atlanta. I know he interviewed a couple times at Atlanta, but I think Atlanta didn't like his vision. Yeah, is what the rumor was.
Plus, he wants too much control. Atlanta's not giving him all that control. New York would.
No. Yeah, who was it also? I think the Giants, I was tinkering around with predictions, like just making some schedules. I think that they're going to be last place in the NFC East.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think the worst team in the NFL. I think they're going to be close to it, though. They're probably like a 3 or 4 win team. It's the Giants. They usually can sneak like about 4 or 5 wins, actually. So I have them like a top 5, top 6 pick, though. But
Raiders versus Giants, who wins?
Oh, Raiders. No. And the Panthers, Giants in Germany. God damn. I don't know who I'm going to pick that game. I keep picking back and forth.
Leave both teams over there.
I still don't know what Germany did. They had Kansas City and Miami last year. It was a pretty close game, 21-14, and then they're like, "All right, we'll give you Carolina, New York this year.
Oh, that's bad.
We'll give you the number one overall team. That was the worst because the Panthers had the number one pick. Really, the Bears had it, but yeah, there's the Panthers spot, and then you had the sixth worst team in the draft. That's
probably going to be Panthers again.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm not high on the Panthers. I mean, but they're one of those teams that can win a few games too and surprise us and not be top 2, top 3. They might be top 10 still, but yeah, I feel bad for the Giants fans out there, man. I really do, man. But I only feel bad for the Giants fans and the players around the quarterback. I don't feel bad for John Mara, and I don't feel bad for Daniel Jones. Well, no. I feel bad for Dayball because I don't know if Dayball actually wanted him.
Yeah, if Dayball didn't, then he don't deserve it. But the Giants as a whole, they deserve it.
I don't even know if Joe Sheen wanted him. I'm telling you, I think it was the owner that pushed for it.
Horrible.
Because
they're going to end up with a ton of dead cap because they're going to get rid of them. They're not going to throw a whole other season next year away with them.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have some dead cap.
They're going to have some dead cap.
Let's talk about my rival team, the New Orleans Saints. And me and Luke, man, we've been giving Chris a lot of shit and just the three of us in our text messaging group chat. Derek Carr and the starters, and I'm going to mainly blame Derek Carr. He does not look good against the backups of Arizona and the backups of San Francisco. And the Saints might be in for a long season if this is the New Orleans Saints that we're going to get, or the Derek Carr we're going to get for the quarterback position.
Yeah, honestly, that was a lot of almost third string for the Niners. Like it wasn't even our like right backup, our second string. Some of them were, but yeah, it's not looking good. Spencer Rattler looks better,
and Spencer did not look good neither. I'm sorry.
He did not.
Yeah. But he looked better than Derek Carr.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He didn't look like he was, NFL ready yet. But it's another situation. Saints are stuck. It's not like what are they gonna do? They're gonna play Derek Carr.
And like Belichick said today too, he mentioned like cap space is a joke. You can manipulate it. But it did affect the Saints because they have to clear all the cap. That they're like $90 million over every year, and they can't afford linemen. The lineman looks terrible on the O-line, and then you can't really bring in much for receivers. I mean, yeah, you were able to bring in Derek Carr last year, but that was pretty much it.
Yeah, because you're paying Taysom Hill like a wide receiver.
Yeah, and he's a Swiss Army knife, but like I don't know about
that. They don't use him right. He could be, yeah, but no, he's making a ton of money. So they did have some cap issues, but
and now I'm scared to draft Chris Olave for fantasy too. Like, I mean, my situation where I'm picking number 7, right? That means I have the 6th pick in the second round. If I go running back like Breece Hall or Bijan Robinson and it's pick 7, Chris Olave is an option to go get my receiver 1. I don't know if I want him.
No,
Chris Olave is electric. I think he's amazing.
Oh, he's amazing. Olave is amazing. But I've been seeing a lot of people talking about Olave dropping. As he should right now. Not because of him talent wise.
Yeah.
But because of who's throwing him the ball. I mean, it's like these last 2 weeks, Carr should have destroyed these defenses.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't even been. He should have came in and had, I would say 8 for 10 touchdown, something like that, but it was bad.
No, yeah, I'm not
playing backups.
I mean, I'm okay with it because they're in my division. As a football fan itself, like that is talking about fantasy purposes, and I have Chris Olave on my board because of my draft slot. Like Olave is an option, like Drake London, Olave, Devontae Adams. They're all that option if I go running back first. And I think Adams will actually be fine. I think Minshew can get him the ball. Don't get me wrong. I think London can get the ball from Cousins, but I'm scared what I'm seeing right now. Now, do I think that they can turn it around? Yeah, I think they can. I think Derek Carr's still good enough, not top 10, but I think he's good enough to wake up. But man, it does not look good for the New Orleans Saints.
I mean, hopefully we're just panicking and we saw, some bad preseason games and they do turn it around.
But
But
you're playing. It's
but it's
vanilla
rough.
defenses, man.
I agree.
It's not like defenses are showing you like all these stunt blitzes, like delayed blitzes, or anything like that. Like they're running basic vanilla that they do in preseason.
And it's not even like a Purdy situation. Like he was playing with the starters too against these backup defense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think AK played, but AK played the first week, I think, and it didn't help. I mean,
they're
going to drive AK to the ground with all the times they're going to check down to him and tear him up.
He's been getting banged up the last year and a half, and he keeps in and out, in and out, in and out. He's only getting older, but
never had 1,000 yards rushing.
Yeah, he's still Alvin Kamara's still great, absolutely. But they're gonna put him like Zeke. He's probably gonna get the ball freaking crazy 25, 30 times a game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to feel about Zeke and his role yet. We'll talk. I mean, that'll be close to part of the season. I don't think Zeke actually we need to talk much about. But hey, let's talk about my team now. Nothing to do. Well, preseason a little weird that Michael Penix isn't playing preseason. Throws the ball like 10 times, and all of a sudden you saw enough from. Okay, this is my opinion. My opinion before we talk about what we're actually going to talk about. He needs to play preseason.
Yeah, I mean, especially. I mean, as you said, 2-3 years, whatever. How many every years he's going to sit? These are valuable reps against NFL teams. Like you got to be playing right now. That was very weird that he sat this one out.
He's going to get a lot of practice time. They say he's going to get like majority reps. Which, okay, so like,
okay, but why not now?
I mean, Kirk's playing. He's not. He's ready. He's cleared. He's going to play.
Yeah.
So I don't get like all the other rookies are playing. Shit, Caleb played a half. Caleb Williams played a whole half
I know. And I mean, and worst case scenario, obviously, we don't want injuries, but even if he did get hurt, he's not even the starter right now. Like, you can go heal. Like, these are valuable reps. Play him.
Yeah. But the thing with Atlanta I want to talk about is after we recorded our episode last week, I'm not sure the exact day of the week. It was, I think, the second half of the week, like around Wednesday or so. The Atlanta Falcons, middle of the night, went and traded for Matt Judon. Coming off torn biceps, looked good in the 4 games he played last year. He's looked good the last 2 seasons before that. The Patriots, it was reported that it was about contract, but then today, Judon says, I'm earning my contract. He understands if he's not getting paid. So was it really about a contract, or was that just the excuse to get the hell out of New England? He's not part of the rebuild. I get it. He's 32 now, but
I think it was both. I mean, he said, I'll earn my contract, but he also said that Patriots never even sat down with him to discuss a contract. So it wasn't like a low ball offer. It wasn't like they just never even spoke with him.
And he's not going to play for $6. And he's not going to play for $6 million on a team that has no shot of winning.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I'm out of here.
With Atlanta, speaking of that, then it was reported, I think, the next day or two, where he signed Justin Simmons, an all-pro safety. I think he actually, out of the safety position, he leads the league in interceptions since he's come in the league. I still think he has some juice left. I'm not saying he's Justin Simmons all-pro, but Justin Simmons are like, he plays the same style of Jesse Bates. They're that fucking good. One can go to strong safety. One can play free safety. I arguably think with Grady Jarrett, pass rush is still going to be shaky, but A.J. Terrell, I think a decent linebacker core, Jesse Bates and fucking Justin Simmons. And the offense, if Kirk Cousins is healthy, are we NFC contenders that could maybe win the NFC? Like, where do you have us now in the NFC when it comes to like the Niners, Lions, Bears, Rams, Packers, Eagles? Where are we at?
Even pre-Simmons and Judon, Falcons were trending up. But these moves, I mean, this roster, like you said, you got Bates, you got Simmons, A.J. Terrell. On offense, I mean, you got Kyle Pitts. Like, I mean, this is
who should be better this year because Kirk Cousins likes tight ends.
Yeah, and I think Bijan finishes at 1 or 2 in the running backs. Here it is. hot take. I think you're right there in the mix. You're right there. I have you above the Bears. I think you're right there with Green Bay.
I have us at 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would say
But
got you above,
above
right there
Green
with
Bay,
Green Bay.
below the Rams. I at the moment below the Rams.
I don't have I have you above the Rams, but I don't have you above Niners, Lions.
Yeah, don't have that.
But
Bears are
you're
weird. Bears are weird because they're so talented. They're loaded, but it's also a rookie quarterback. So
it's a rookie quarterback. Yeah.
you're gonna have gonna hit hits and you're gonna have flows, and you're gonna have a little bit of stalls here. But I don't think we're gonna beat Philly in Philly. It's just Monday night. It's in Philly. It's something that it's the cobwebs are gonna be there for Kirk Cousins. That's just the way it is. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. But what about if it's in Atlanta in the playoffs?
Oh, we're winning. We're winning. And I think Philly's a good team. I think Philly's a good 11 or 12 win team this year. I like what they're doing. But our defense, man, our secondary is pretty good. I mean, our offense is going to be what our offense held us back last year. We were top 10 defense with a shit offense.
Yeah, you had no quarterback.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts is 1,000-yard receiver his rookie season with Matt Ryan, who could throw the ball at least. I'm not saying he was Matt Ryan MVP, but he was good enough to get Kyle Pitts 1,000 yards. I mean, only one touchdown, but still 1,000 yards. You got Drake London. You got Kyle Pitts. I think Darnell Mooney can have a good year as a number 2. Bijan and Tyler Algier, that's a good 1-2 punch. I mean, Algier's a 1,000-yard rusher. Bijan was close last year.
I think Bijan has a CMC year.
Well, we know anything about the coordinator. He comes from that McVay, Shanahan style, running backs are heavily involved. It sets up the play action. Kirk Cousins is a hell of a play action quarterback.
Exactly. I'm high on Bijan. Falcons definitely skyrocket up the board for sure.
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 in the NFC right now. I really like it. I'm not 100% high on Green Bay, honestly. That's just me.
Neither. That's why I said I got you guys above Green Bay.
Dallas, I think, is a 7 or 8 win team. Honestly, I had them at 7 wins today.
Yep.
I might jump to 8, but I'm not high on Dallas at all.
I'm not high on the Eagles either. They got locker room drama. They got everything. I'm not buying any of that.
Yeah, well, the Eagles, I think they're good. I think they're good on paper, but we'll have to see.
Exactly.
That paper, paper's paper. You got to do it on the football field. And,
yeah.
What I honestly wouldn't mind if we go into Philly, obviously, and win. And
that'd be great too.
Because we have a pretty opening. Like we have Steelers. I don't know Steelers anymore, but then we're at Phillies Monday night, home against the Chiefs Sunday night. Hopefully we get the early. Hopefully the Ravens and Bengals they beat the Ravens and Bengals and they take so much out of them that the Chiefs just like, man, we could use like a let me down game.
I want that. I can't wait for that matchup.
And then we play the Saints and Bucks, or Bucks Saints the next. So like our first 5 weeks is 2 division games and then 3 tough teams. Well, Steelers, we'll see. We don't know 100% yet at the moment, but yeah, I would love to see it too. Sunday Night Football, Mahomes versus Cousins, man.
Nice.
And we have 2 more topics. I think we're not going to talk much about this, but the Broncos need to start Bo Nix. The Patriots need to start Drake May, if you ask me.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple.
Yep. Not even.
Bo looks good.
Yep.
He's doing his job. He loves Tim Patrick, by the way. Tim Patrick and him are
I know.
A little connection.
Because they probably work a lot. Those 2 probably work a lot in practice.
Tim's not bad neither. Tim's just been hurt a lot.
No. Yeah, but he probably goes when Bo Nix is running the offense. Patrick's probably in there a lot. Yeah, but I wasn't high on him coming in the draft, but I mean, so far as preseason, he looks good. You got to start him.
Training camp looks good too.
Both those quarterbacks got to start. Otherwise, the team's tanking. It makes absolutely no sense.
Jacoby Brissett looks bad.
No, as always.
Drake May looks like he's gonna have. I think Drake May has some moments where he's gonna struggle, but he looks way better than Joe Milton, Bailey Zappi, and Jacoby Brissett. Joe Milton came back to the pack, by the way. He didn't look at anything against third stringers. He looked bad. Practice squad members, Joe Milton looks good.
He's going to have some rookie struggles. There's going to be some boneheaded plays, some dumb moves, probably some losses because of it. But he's the best quarterback on the roster right now, and you got to start him.
That throw to Javon Baker where he slid inside, stepped in the pocket, threw a dime to Javon Baker. He had to dive a little bit, but it was in his hands. Like it was in the fingertips. It was in his hands and dropped it. Javon Baker knew it too, but I'm not like this rookie class. I'm not ready to say bust. Like I know how you were with Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. I don't want to say anyone's a bust because Bo Nix, Drake May, unfortunately, we're not going to see JJ. But like these guys, we know are on bad teams, so we know it's going to. It's like Alex Smith. You gotta give him a few years. I'm not saying Alex Smith I almost gave up on, but Jim Harbaugh, Harbaugh came in the league and turned him around. But I don't want to see. Yeah, I don't want to see them give up on Bo and Drake May like at all. I want to see them develop them and get some talent around them.
No, I do too. But and you got to start them right now. I'm sorry, they're not going to have a year to sit because. You got to start him.
And like Belichick said, too, if you start Bo Nix or Drake May, you could not bench them in week 4 or 5 if the team's struggling because that's just going to ruin their confidence.
Yep.
It regresses them. Like they're not that takes everything out of all the momentum they have, anything, like any confidence, it goes down the drain.
Yeah.
Belichick was speaking some fucking facts today, by the way.
I mean, that happened with Tua. Tua was defeated in his career, was almost done. When he kept bouncing with Fitzpatrick, and they didn't know which quarterback they wanted to play. His confidence was destroyed, and his morale. It was terrible.
It was funny though, coming from Bill, who gave up on Mac Jones when they gave him a defense coordinator and a special teams coordinator to be their offense coordinator. I'm not saying Mac Jones is going to be anything special, but like me and Allen agree, they didn't even give him a chance to thrive.
Mac Jones is a Daniel Jones.
I take Mac Jones over Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I probably would too.
I would, even though Daniel has a playoff win, but I would take. I mean, Daniel Jones also went against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo.
I probably would too, but he's still not good. He's a backup quarterback.
No, he looks like he should be number 2 over CJ Beathard in Jacksonville, though.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's from the area too. I think he's like a local. I think he's from that like around the area, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, I mean. He's also free agent after this year, too. So we'll see what happens to him. We're going to end the show with some positive stuff. The Kansas City Chiefs. And man, oh man, good fucking luck to any defense this year. Because Xavier Worthy looked good. He looked really fast. His route running looked good. That quote-unquote drop issues he has in college didn't look like he had an issue this game. Got to touch him from Carson Wentz, but Mahomes got him involved. Rashee Rice is not getting suspended, in my opinion, this year. Good luck with that. And Hollywood Brown will play. If you got Travis or you got Patrick Mahomes throwing fucking behind the back passes,
oh my god,
this is fucking unreal. I mean, I just don't get how do you stop the Chiefs? I just don't understand it. Especially their offense.
Here we go.
You hate it. I know you do.
Unfortunately, this Chiefs offense is night and day better than it was last year.
The last 2 years.
Yeah. I'm just going off last year's, obviously, yes, last 2 years, which is scary for the NFL. They got so much speed. I mean, it's going to be who's going to beat the Chiefs? I mean, obviously, it's almost impossible to three-peat, but
you need them to have an off day. You need them to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's scary. Xavier Worthy looks good, looks fast. He's got some good cuts. I mean, and they weren't even full speed. They were out there playing with them and drove down the field twice. They got 2 field goals, but they wasn't even a full speed Chiefs offense, and it's nasty.
Did Mahomes didn't score a touchdown with them? I know Wentz did.
No,
Wentz threw the touchdown.
Both were field goals with Mahomes, I believe.
Damn, because he only I love the whole we're playing up. So like a half, so a quarter means one drive. A half means almost one quarter. It's like God damn, Andy. It's like Andy Reid. I want to see something. Yeah, it was both field goals from him. Yeah. But like even the touchdown from Worthy, he didn't look like he just blew. I mean, he blew past them, but he didn't look like you said, it was not full speed.
No, they weren't.
Not at all.
They were throwing behind the back and stuff. I mean, come on, they were playing with them.
That interview was great. So he was like, yeah, Travis didn't. It wasn't because I don't think Mahomes wants to tell people it's playing even though they practice it. Well, Andy Reid has said he wants to do it in the games. It's Mahomes that says no, which is crazy.
I mean, he gives Mahomes free range. Mahomes can do whatever he wants. If Mahomes wanted to do it in a game, he could. I mean, you got Pacheco. I mean, it's nasty.
Yeah, I mean, I think Noah Gray, solid tight end number 2. Jared Wiley, he's a guy they drafted. They're looking to try to get him involved. I think Kelsey's going to be a lot better this year. And Kelsey wasn't terrible last year. He wasn't the Travis Kelsey that we're used to.
You got the black and white shirts, the refs in your pocket. I mean, it's just never ending.
Stop. The refs have missed a couple calls against the Chiefs in preseason, but I didn't want to say anything in Discord. But they did miss it. Oh no, they missed it against the Chiefs. Actually, there was some calls that the Chiefs should have gotten. But like I said, this is without Hollywood Brown too, and I think Hollywood Brown fits this team. I'm not a huge Hollywood Brown fan by any means, but
I mean, almost anyone will fit this team. I mean, you freaking won a Super Bowl with Juju. I mean, it's almost like
Juju is your one, and a rookie Rashee Rice who was starting to break off at the second half of the season as your number one. I like Rice.
It's like we're going through the whole Patriots thing again, where Brady could just pull anyone in receiver and they're just going to light it up. I'm not comparing Mahomes and Brady, like that. I'm just saying, like, you throw a receiver in there with Mahomes and he's going to make it work.
It's like Doc says, you can go get the hot dog guy and stand 202 and bring him in. I mean, so you have two guys that can take the top off the defense with Hollywood and Xavier Worthy. And then you have Rashee Rice, who's underneath, and
Kelsey's a receiver.
Mid. Yeah, Kelsey.
He's a wide receiver. Let's be real.
Runs the weirdest fucking like routes. Like he's not crisp or anything, but it works.
Yeah.
Like you can't. I was watching a clip actually of it's 2015. I sent it in the Discord. It was the Eric Berry return game in 2015. But Travis Kelsey, man, he was still. I mean, obviously was there with Alex Smith, and it's like same Alex. It's the same Travis Kelsey. It's doing the same shit with Alex Smith, obviously. But yeah, this Chiefs team, man,
and Pacheco's getting better. Pacheco's good too.
Oh, Pacheco's a dog. I mean, it was a seventh round steal from Rutgers.
Absolutely. So I mean, they're stacked, and their defense is good. So I mean, we're not going to knock their defense either. So
defense might take a small step back because they lost Snead, they lost Willie Gay, but you still have Chris Jones, you still have McDuffie.
Yeah.
You still have who is the linebacker? Was it Bolton? Who is it out there? Someone like that out there. He's pretty good.
And it's a non-holdout Chris Jones. Last year he was held out all the way into the season, so he
missed one game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but he still held out the whole offseason. Like, now he actually was there the whole offseason. I think he was going to be even better than he was last year.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens played the Chiefs and the Chiefs won by like 20.
I agree.
I'm not lying. Like and that's no shot at Lamar and the Ravens. I think they're going to be a solid team still, but the Ravens defense is a little weird to me because they did lose some pieces. They did get some pieces in the draft, and they lost a coordinator. It's just this Chiefs team, man. It's good for them. You talk
about the Ravens and their milk carton? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Chris sent that too in our messages, and I was waiting for a comment from Luke, and I shared it in Discord, and no one said anything. I mean, you said you saw it, but Julian Edelman did call out Joe Burrow, which is funny because Joe Burrow has beat Patty in the playoffs. I mean, he got to the Super Bowl by beating Patty. He had a crazy second half and the comeback. That was like one of the only good games he had in the playoffs. That game in the Bills in the first half and the one they lost, and then he choked in the second half the following year against the Chiefs. But I mean, he has beaten Mahomes. I'll give him that. No one else, Brady too, but Brady's not playing anymore. But no one else in the AFC can say that. Lamar can't say that. Deshaun Watson can't. No one can say that they've beaten Patty Mahomes in the playoffs. I get Bo. He only called Burrow out because Burrow has to stay healthy. But he did call Lamar.
The Niners sure haven't beat him in the playoffs. So
yeah. He has y'all's number. Have you guys beat him at all? I don't think you've ever beat him. I remember he played y'all when Jimmy G got hurt.
Jimmy G got hurt against the Chiefs.
And then you guys played him again. I would say that didn't Jimmy G get hurt again? And then Tua came in that game? Or was that the Dolphins game?
Purdy came in versus the Dolphins.
But then you lost to the Chiefs. If I'm not mistaken.
If it was after the Dolphins, no, because Purdy didn't lose.
It was week. No. You guys played the week before the Dolphins.
Oh, then yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't think Mahomes. I think Mahomes is 4-0 against y'all.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
That's good. Hey, man. Hey, join the club. Tom Brady did the same shit to Atlanta for years. So.
Yeah.
And we only played him once in the Super Bowl, and it was obviously biggest meltdown ever. But
yeah.
No, great episode though, man. Tomorrow's gonna be fucking fun. It's gonna be college football predictions. We're gonna see who we have winning. I hope we don't have this. Hope none of us have the same team winning. Yeah, like I know we were talking off air. I hope that some of that changed for us. I've already made mine. I could easily change mine if the three of us have the same.
I'll send mine here in a little while.
Yeah, it's bracket style, so you got to remember that it's new. It's new. It's not reseeding. It's 1 plays the 8-9, 2 plays the 7-10, and then it's like a little mini bracket. So it's gonna be exciting. I think this college football season is gonna be a really good one. I think week one, we have 0 week this week. Florida State and Georgia Tech in Dublin, Ireland. Yep. But week 1, Miami and Florida in the swamp, man. 3:30 kickoff time.
I wanted to go so bad.
Tony's going. He's sitting pretty low too. Good game. And the Gators play the Longhorns, Luke's bachelor party weekend. So and Wade's going. He's a Florida Gator fan, so he already said he's like it's gonna be a long day for me. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a long day for the Gators that game. I think the Gators are going to win some games. I think the Gators are going to win about six or 7 games. I actually think that there'll be a bowl game this year.
Yeah, typical.
Put DJ in. Put the freshman in.
Yeah.
It's sickening that Graham Mertz. I talked to a Gator fan, same guy's a Raiders fan. I think it's sickening every time I see Graham Mertz wearing number 15 for the Florida Gators. There's no way. I don't care if you can't retire the number because it's college, but do not let any quarterback wear 15. That's the rule. Safeties, corners, linebackers, whatever, where they can wear 15, but no quarterback.
No quarterback should be wearing it. Yeah, I agree.
Unless you live up to that name, you need to live up to the number. It's like Vince Young and Colt McCoy. I don't want nobody wearing 10 and 12. Shout out to Colt McCoy. He retired too.
He did, yeah.
Sucks. He went to the Browns, but. Great episode, Jake. Can't wait to get you back here tomorrow. I think it's going to be closer to like 8:30, 8:45 time because Luke's going to be in. So we're going to try get on still a little early before 9. But great episode. Can't wait to talk about college football tomorrow. And then this is just the start of 2 episodes a week, man. And start getting ready, man. Next week, we're doing our NFL predictions. So our MVPs, coach of the years.
That's a big one for sure.
Yeah, I was off on MVP last year. I had Jalen Hurts. I thought they were going to ride the wave last year. I was wrong. Wrong on that one. But nope, Patty Mahomes MVP this year, 3-time MVP. So I'm Mark Davis. That's Jake Winnicott. This is All About the Balls podcast. We are out. Have a great night.